the main event from last night, Dustin Poirier victorious over Conor McGregor. He won via TKO at the end of the first round as Conor McGregor's leg snapped in the waning seconds of the first round. In a wild first round, a fun first round between the both of them. Conor came out, and Joe Rogan actually had a really astute observation from the get-go, and that was something I noticed too right away. It's like, man, Conor's not doing his little crazy eyes thing at the camera. He's not like placating to the crowd. Just came out very angry, a lot of emotion from him, and I was interested to see what kind of guy we were going to see in these first couple of minutes. And Dustin Poirier, pretty much cool, calm, and collected like he usually is in the goings of his fight. And this first round, I mean, it really did have a lot of everything. It really did. I mean, you had Conor McGregor definitely going back to that more karate style, really trying to throw some kicks, mix it up a little bit more, not just go into a straight hands fight. Ended up cracking Dustin with a big left hand off of those body kicks, which were so important with Conor in the early goings of his career. So I think if you were a Conor fan, you were probably feeling pretty good that Conor looked like he had a more sound game plan. Really was going to town on Dustin with the lower leg kicks, which was such an overblown story of the first fight. Everybody was crazy with the calf kicks on Conor in that first fight, and so he was definitely trying to dish that out on his own. Were there ramifications from that? Tough to say. I mean, he with the way that the fight ended, Dustin Poirier certainly thinks so. But, once again, it looked like a guy who, once it really started to settle down into the striking game on the feet, Dustin was getting the better of him, man. Like he was, he took that first big shot from Conor, ate it. And then, once the whole kicking game got to it, when it comes to boxing, I mean, there's not a better one in the game than Dustin Poirier, man. And, shout out to, his coach at Boca Boxing District, Dia Davis, and Dustin and all the crew at American Top Team with the work that he's done. He's so good in chaos, and he's so good when it comes to those on-the-feet exchanges. And so they get up against the cage, and then Conor kind of stuns the world because he's got Dustin Poirier's head under his arm, and he decides, okay, I'm gonna pull guard and try and go for the guillotine, which, maybe you thought it wasn't like Dustin versus Khabib where you were like, oh man, maybe he is going to get Khabib. Maybe he is got him tight. Maybe he is fading. No, it was like, kind of give it like 5 seconds of like, oh, look at Conor. Is he actually going to win this fight in the most unpredictable way possible? But Dustin just so well versed, so well rounded, calm, cool, collected, found his way out, and then just started really going to town. Really, really bludgeoning Conor with some big time elbows. Conor, to his credit, was able to deliver his own punishment from the bottom, hit him with some nasty elbows from the side. And at this point, you don't really know. He's not really on his feet and mobility. So if there were any ramifications from that one kick that Dustin did check in the exchanges, maybe it's kind of tough to know, because they're not on their feet, they're not really fighting, and maybe I don't know if Conor felt something and that was a reason to pull guard. I don't know. It's hard to say, but Dustin was definitely Conor was in a bad spot for the majority of a round and was doing as good as he could with that position from hitting stuff at the bottom. He actually hit Dustin with a nice up kick. Like I said, had some good elbows, but Dustin was getting the better of it. I mean, Dustin was bludgeoning him with some big elbows. He was, sizing him up with big shots from the top. And, eventually, like, brought it back to the feet with about, I think it was like 20 seconds left before we had the crazy ending. So it was a wild first round. And I'm sure a taxing first round to both guys. It's tough to know. I know that I think, and I said this last week in my prediction of the fight. Listen, the fight didn't go how I think nobody predicts that Conor McGregor is going to break his leg. But I don't even think Conor probably got off to as fast as a start as he hoped that he could. I think that was definitely, the idea that you spend you go into this and having some success early, but with him going to the point where he's going for the guillotine, 2 minutes into the round, that was pretty wild. So, I would venture. I think it's safe to say, look, if Conor doesn't get hurt, you're probably feeling pretty good if you're a Dustin Poirier fan that he is gonna take that and roll forth. But maybe he was tired too. Look, he was spending a lot of time holding Conor down and hitting some big shots. So maybe he's not as quick and Conor can hit him with something. So yeah, there's definitely a level of it that is unsatisfying. You never want to see a fight end like this. Especially these guys who, look, I mean, that was very clear in the aftermath of this. The rivalry is cranked up to higher than it ever was. Like, the first fight was just, hey, Conor's rise. He was talking crap about the size of Dustin Poirier's head. The second fight, super, super chummy. This third fight has been, I mean, it was super nasty, and it feels like it's even nastier after the fourth fight. I mean, Conor McGregor was sitting there on the ground, and they were still going at it with each other. Dustin Poirier, who is as nice as they come, he was Billy strutting over to Conor, who's getting his leg put into a splint, and telling him to shut your bleep mouth up. It's a nasty rivalry afterwards, and when you and I believe Dustin's line in the aftermath with Joe Rogan is that karma's not a bee, karma's a mirror, and calling Conor a dirtbag. And look, Conor didn't exactly stifle any of that stuff with, the low blows to Dustin Poirier's wife it's just as low rent as it gets for Conor, because that was the one thing with the trash talk this week. You're looking forward to seeing it, and we were certainly having fun with it on the morning show with his construction guy analogy, but the whole using the Jake Paul move of, oh, your wife was sliding into my DMs, and then calling his wife a hoe in the while you're getting your leg taped up just to get stretchered out of the octagon. Just thought it was very unbecoming of Conor. Like, he's certainly a guy who we like when he plays the bad guy, but he's always led in the realm of other than Khabib is usually led in the land of, hey, once the fight's over, and we kind of go about it. This was not that. I mean, this is a guy who I think is very not only angry with how the fight ended, but I think is probably very angry with where he is in the sport. He is a competitor. He is a competitive guy, and right now he's looked upon as a guy who I think a lot of people feel like if that fight would have gone past that first round, he was going to get maybe the worst beating of his career. Because Dustin Poirier's got a gas tank for days. He is best. He is, great in chaos, and he just seems like he's better at Conor than everything in the octagon right now. Quite frankly, we'll never know. And I do think the one thing for Conor that this ending gives him is that it benefits him in that he does get to hold on to that shred of mystery. And he does get to hold on to the shred of what if. And he does get to hold on to, hey, if my leg didn't break and we were standing again, I was going to take you out. He gets to hold on to that. And I guess that's something. But who knows what a guy who was already looking past his prime now has this devastating injury for a guy who's always been about remember when Conor McGregor was coming up, the movement coach, I understand the human body better than everybody. And now he is not only just not an immortal, he's a guy who's literally sitting there with broken bones in the octagon. And with all this ideas, is he the same guy with mystique? Is he the same guy with talent? Now, is he going to be the same guy health-wise? Is he going to be that guy who comes back? Because, Anderson Silva never quite came back the same. We don't know what's going to happen with Chris Weidman. It's a horrible injury to come back from, especially for a guy like Conor, who's always been about speed and movement and angles. And certainly against these championship quality guys, like we've now seen him again there with Dustin, and Dustin won that round clearly. And I don't know, man. I think that's to him. That's the only benefit that comes out of this. You know, if you told him, hey, you get to at least have the what if over it, but instead of just getting bludgeoned by Dustin Poirier, what would you take? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe it's still to be healthy, but that's a tough one, man. And as far as Dustin's concerned, you know, this in a lot of ways for him couldn't have gotten better because, yeah, he doesn't settle the score with Conor McGregor quite because they still hate each other more than ever. But now that fourth fight feels like it's going to be even bigger than this one was because of the bad blood. And now, so he has that remember that Conor McGregor fight, this once in a lifetime Conor McGregor payday that you have to take advantage of. You have to take it to set up your family. You have to do all of that. Well, now he gets the chance to go fight Charles Oliveira, become champion of the world, and he's probably going to have another Conor McGregor payday, if not this year. I mean, Conor McGregor, you have an injury like that, I wouldn't expect him back for probably a full calendar year, if not longer. Who knows? But yeah, it definitely I don't want to say it's unsatisfying because it's not like we didn't get. It's not like something that happened 30 seconds in the round. Like we got it's an unfulfilling trilogy because usually it's supposed to be 1-1 and then winner has bragging rights. I certainly think that Dustin does walk away with some of that because he clearly won these guys in 5 minutes of combat. He definitely got the better of it. But there is always going to be that what if for Conor that he's going to be able to hold on to. But thankfully, I think for Dustin is that what if will lead to a lot more money for him, and probably I would venture to guess would be the biggest payday out of all of them because maybe it's for a world title. So for him, I'm glad that Dustin gets the opportunity. It would have been devastating for him to have this Conor fight, have all the fights that he's won, and never get a chance to fight again for the lightweight championship after losing it to Khabib. I'm looking forward to him versus Charles Oliveira, who's no punk. I mean, look, that fight's going to be the anti this fight, and what I mean by that is the lead up's going to be super respectful. Dustin has a lot of respect for Charles Oliveira, and vice versa. He was giving him congratulations to Megan O'Leary after the fight, and for him, it's been that moment of him actually becoming undisputed lightweight champion of the world is has been a long time coming. So, as you never like to see anybody get hurt, you still give congratulations to Poirier for getting the job done that he did in that first round. You do hope that Conor McGregor has a full recovery and that he is able to continue his career because that was the most even with all the stuff that went down with Khabib, and you had the brawl. This was for sure the most despondent I think you've seen Conor after a position like this, and obviously, like, look, his leg is getting taped together and put together, and you gotta understand why he's at that spot, but also just a lot of anger out of him today, man. Not the guy having fun. Wasn't having a lot of fun, and not the guy who was doing all that. And no love lost between these two.